everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Joey Evans.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
Today we're looking at a game called Kelp. Actually, it's technically called Shark versus Octopus. Kelp. And
I would watch that. Sharktopus.
Well, this is a normal, as far as I can tell, it's a normal shark against a normal octopus.
Yes.
It's a two-player game, and one person's playing the shark who is hunting the octopus. The octopus is either trying to hide or eat. Sounds like my life.
And they're very specific sharks and octopus, too, because there was a pretty famous documentary that I should know the name of. It has teacher in the title. That was basically the inspiration for this game.
Oh,
really?
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at how it plays. In Kelp, there's going to be 9 tiles that are randomly placed on the board at the beginning, but only the octopus player can see them. We're looking at the board from the shark's perspective. So the octopus player would kind of put the tiles like this. They're randomly out there. I'm just showing them to you so you can see them right now. The octopus is the octopus. They're going to be out there. Then they have a bunch of seashells and then a trap for the shark. Now the octopus player is going to pick which of these 4 corners the shark will start on. Then the octopus is going to take the first turn. Now on an octopus's turn, they're going to have a handful of cards from a starting deck. And they're going to be able to take 2 actions on their turn. One of their actions is playing a card. When you play a card, there's a cost for that card. And it's always revealing tiles. So maybe it's the octopus. I'm like, well, I'm going to reveal these 2 tiles to you. You lay them down like this. Now, they're all laid down right now. But you would reveal those 2. And that gives the shark player information. But now I can play this. Now, this lets me shuffle 2 hidden blocks. Shuffling, I'll mix up these blocks and then pull them out one by one. And the shark will say, put that one there and put that one there. You also can switch things on the board. You can swap adjacent blocks that doesn't do them. There's also cards that hide blocks, so you can bring them back hidden. I mean, the shark can try to remember what's where, but maybe you'll be able to shuffle them later on. And then there are cards that let you learn. When learning, there's 4 stacks of cards here. Players can either take a new tile, so there's going to be some tiles next board. You can just take a tile, and you'll replace it. So I might take another trap and put it out on the board and replace it with the seashell, put it out here. There's always going to be 9 tiles in play. Or I can take another card and add it to my deck. And there's 4 different types of cards. There's ones that are going to let you swap blocks. There's ones that let you hide. There's ones that let you learn. And then there are food. Food comes with a block, which is swapped out like normal. And the octopus at certain points has a chance, if they're adjacent to food on the board, eat that food, which will give you a special ability. And if the octopus can get all 4 food on the board and eat all 4 food, they will win. So the octopus has those 2 actions. They can play a card. They can play a card twice. You can do the same action twice. They can also draw back up to their hand size. Their hand size will start at 4, but it can go higher during the course of the game if you have certain cards that you play. And they can also just discard a card from their hand to hide a block again. So they get 2 actions. The shark player has a bag here, which is going to be full of dice. It has some starting dice thrown in it, 7 blue, 3 yellow, and a red. But there are many more dice that you can get over the course of the game. So the first thing the shark player will do on their turn is they're going to draw 2 dice from the bag. Now, blue dice are current dice. You're going to, whenever you draw, you either draw randomly or roll. You can place current dice on the board. Now, the shark needs to move every turn. When he starts, he can pick which direction. But let's say the shark's facing this way. He can move here, or he can move here. He's going to move from blue spot to blue spot. However, if there's a die there, he can skip over that die and move faster. And in fact, if you have dice that consecutively go down, so let's say there's a 5 and then a 2 here, he can skip over both of these. Now, the first die that they move over, they're going to remove and put here. You're trying to fill these up. If you use blue or yellow dice and you get 3 of them here, you'll flip it over. This lets you re-roll a die every turn once it's flipped over. This says when you store energy, you get more. You can re-roll an extra die. You get to draw an extra die if you have all of them out here. Yellow dice and red dice are how the shark will find the octopus. Yellow dice can be used to search as long as the number is higher than the number that they're searching in. So if the shark's here and they have a yellow die 4 or higher, I can reveal this. It's not the octopus. A red die is even better because it will let you reveal it and attack the octopus. We'll come back to attacks in just a second. The shark will take any dice that they they haven't used or whatever, and put them down here where they can have up to 3 dice. And at the end of their turn, they'll count the pips, and they can spend these if they want to buy cards. These cards are one-time use cards. This lets you return 2 dice from the bag, then choose a replacement die, but they also throw more dice into your bag. And so there's all kinds of different shark cards that will come out. You'll probably need more than 1 red dice, and if you want more yellow and blue in the bag. If you let this overflow, it's going to send dice up here, and every time the shark fails, let's say he attacks and it's not where the octopus is, you're going to put a red one here. And if this fills all the way to the top, the octopus wins. Now, I've talked about how the octopus wins. The shark wins by catching the octopus. If you attack where the octopus token is, then there's a confrontation. The octopus has 3 choices: flinch, flight, or fight. You pick one of those secretly. The shark player is also picking one of their counter of those. If they counter the right color, then the shark player wins. If they don't, let's say they played this one here, counter flight, well, then the octopus's card goes off, move the shark to a den of your choice. But then we trash this card and the matching counter card. So now the next time the shark catches the octopus, they have a 50-50 chance. And if that doesn't work, then on the 3rd time, they're going to catch the octopus. So that's how the shark wins, by catching the octopus and winning a confrontation. And the octopus can win by basically surviving, so that there's a dice that fill this all the way up to the X, or by eating the 4 different foods. Mike, what was the name of that documentary again?
It's called My Octopus Teacher on Netflix in the United States anyway.
All right, we'll have to check it out. All right, every year at the Dice Tower Awards, we give out the best components of the year. Component productions often go to games with big. It's the Castle of Burgundy reprint.
Special edition, yeah.
Games with lots of miniatures.
$300 games, yeah.
Now, this is the deluxe version, although I've seen the regular version of this too. This has an extra octopus miniature, holds a metal coin that shows you your hand size.
Right.
But I got to say, this is a 10 out of 10 production-wise for me. Everything. The dice are good quality.
Yep.
The cards are good quality. The cards clearly tell you what to do. Each side has cards that say, you have a reference card for you. The tiles are, I love the tiles.
So good.
The board is gorgeous. I mean, and it's in this size box. Publishers take note.
Right. And
I love the components of this.
And the expansions fit easily inside this box. Absolutely.
Until this point, Mike, I did not even know expansions existed.
Yeah. They came, it was a Kickstarter project, and it came with some mini expansions that fit right in there. And I got to tell you, I agree 100% about the production of this. Well, first of all, you've got the art of Weberson Santiago, which I'm a huge fan of, and I know a lot of other people are because he's doing a lot more games. This showcases it all so well. Like the art on the cards, the art on the board, it just feels so luxurious. And those ridged mahjong-style mini tiles are great. Really incredible production.
This is it's a cat and mouse style game that just looks so good. Like you said, it's not just the production, like the shape of that shark with the fin going around. He's on patrol. It just looks so good. Even if you're losing, you're like, I'm going to get you. And it gets, the theme in this really comes through.
It does. Now, this is an asymmetrical game where each side plays very differently, but it's not particularly complex. The most complex thing to me is the shark and how they use their dice.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of complexity, like, okay, wait, if I use a die here, it goes on these tiles. If I don't use it at all, it goes here, and I don't have to spend it, but I can save it. There's a few minor rules there.
Right.
I think that's the trickiest part of the game.
I agree. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. And it's one of these games, two-player asymmetric games, or really asymmetric games in general. The trick that can, or the thing that can kind of trip those up is when one or two factions are clearly more fun to play than the other.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that issue. I
don't
love playing as both sides.
I agree. And it is I hunt the other person down type game. And I know this is one of your favorite genres.
I love
You love that one person finding the other. And it's so, as the octopus player, you feel pretty vulnerable.
Yes.
Because your first card you play, you knock down 3 tiles. You're like, well, all right.
Yeah.
Until you realize, no, I can bring some tiles up, and you gotta be coy.
Yes.
And I think it's possible to win both ways by eating the
It
food
is.
or surviving the shark.
Yep.
I talked to someone last week who said they played this game and ended one turn in because the shark player just got super lucky and went
Right,
and
but
ate.
that
But this
happens.
game, that's like, first of all, the game's not long.
No.
It says 40 to 60 minutes. You're slowing down, I think, if you're.
Yeah.
If you, to me, this is a 30 to 45-minute game.
Yes, this is a game that that you're feeling tension from turn one, and even if that, I'm sure
that
extreme
would happen, we
edge
would
case,
be
just
like,
set it right back up and
Set
play.
it up and play
Right.
again.
I've had Fury in the be found right at the beginning of the game too. It's going to happen a hidden movement.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this thing too. It's like I think it builds too because at first you're very careful with the shark. You're like going to look first before you strike, but then you just start to strike. You're like if he gets away from a battle, it's more
You
that
gotta get
feeding
those
frenzy.
red dice.
You
Yep.
do,
And every time you miss,
that's the thing.
you move up. So the yellow dice are good for that purpose because they don't go on the other side. But also, if you strike and you have the confrontation with the octopus and you miss, which you have a pretty good chance of missing that
Yeah.
first time, you're at 50% the second time. And then that third time, you got him.
This is watching
Yes.
Shark Week, is what it is.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
if he
no.
misses again, you're watching. You're like, he's not going to miss again.
Yeah.
The shark's eventually going to get that octopus.
Yeah, no, it really creates tension on both sides.
Yeah.
As the shark player, you are having to deal with probabilities to some extent, right? Because a lot of the tiles are for the octopus to be able to do their cool stuff, they have to reveal tiles generally, right? Which means that the octopus isn't there. And so you can get to the point where you have a 33% chance of hitting him. But there may be other things that have happened that have kind of played with those odds a little bit, and so
And there's
that's
the trap, which makes
Yes,
it's
exactly.
not critical
Right.
for the shark, but the shark still is going to think twice.
Yeah, exactly. And as the octopus player, you're really just trying to manage those tiles, right? And be able to pull off tricky moves like switching tiles and things along those lines. Do I play that switch tiles and then not even switch the tiles? Those kinds of things.
I love the mind game thing.
Yeah.
Which it also has one of my favorite things in hidden movement where when you're revealed at a certain point, it's okay because they're too far away.
Right, exactly.
And I love that. It's like, man, the shark is down there. It's like, now you can do it.
Right.
And you eat that, you're like, and he's not going to make it up in time. By the time you get up, they're gone.
Right.
I love that.
So for me, this is the kind of game I wish we saw more of in the industry.
I agree.
Not necessarily the two-player aspect. That's cool. But just there's so much game in this box, but it's not overwhelming. And in fact, this game has made me kind of rethink another game I played earlier this year that you and I reviewed, Harrow County, I think.
Harrow
it's the name of
County,
it.
yeah.
And I like Harrow County a lot. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. I thought it was a great game. But Harrow County is a lot of rules to teach, a lot of things going on, and it provided a great experience.
Sure.
It was great. This, though, provides for me an equally great experience with less rules and smoother experience. And this is masterpiece is a strong word. And I hate throwing stuff like that around necessarily, but for a fairly unknown designer here, Carl Robinson. I don't know much about him. Has he designed other things?
This is his first design, and this publisher is also relatively new to the scene. It's incredible. Yeah.
Crazy good. Don't miss out on this game. This is an 8.5 from me. I think it's fantastic. It might even go up as time goes by. I'm just very impressed with it.
All right, mine will also go up. I'm at a 9. I mean, this is hidden movement. You've got bag building. You've got massive asymmetry with easy to learn. This game is great. And this is probably going to be one of the two-player games that I see hitting the table a lot.
Yeah, this game just feels special to me. It really does. It stands apart from other games of its ilk. There aren't actually that many games of its ilk,
right?
But it just stands apart both in production, smoothness of play, while still having very asymmetric sides. So it's a 9 for me as well. And yeah, I mean, I've played it a lot, and I don't see the score going down. I'll put it to you that way. It's fantastic.
There you go, folks. That's Kelp. Root for the octopus. Unless you're in the water, octopuses just scare me.
Yeah,
if I saw an octopus, they're not like deadly to humans, really.
Yeah.
But if I saw one coming at me, I'd be like, oh, it's like a spider.
They can also squeeze into a hole the size of a tennis ball. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
If you look that up sometime on YouTube about octopuses escaping out of, like, they put
That's what
traps
the
up.
movie is basically about, or the documentary, yeah.
So cool.
They just shouldn't exist. That's it. They're just like magic.
So you're on the shark side.
Yeah.
So Joey believes that, yes, all octopus must completely be eradicated.
All right. Well, until next time, I'm Tom Basil.
I'm Joey Evans.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
Root for
I love octopus.
Go Shark.
They get to live, Joey.
delicious.
They get to live.
Oh.